In this video, we're going to talk about setting up the structure of your database. So that includes mostly columns and rows. So you basically have the table set up properly to work with. So I'm just going to basically follow through this blog post, but I will be talking about things as we go. So basically, when you start out with XAMPP or your PHPMyAdmin or whatever tool you're using, you have a database, and inside of the database there are tables, and in those tables there are columns and rows of information. And so you can set up a database per project and then set up tables within that database that fit within that project. You can really set things up however you want, but I think the easiest way to start is one project per database. So if we're going to do that, let's say we're working on 3 databases or 3 projects, right? So one way you can create new tables is by using this new button. If this is an example, I mean, AdMiner is another tool I recommend, and but that one's pretty self-explanatory. So I'm just going to use examp. But anyway, creating a database, so you can create it without the SQL. So project 1, and then you can just there's a lot of information, but I just stick with the default usually for tutorial purposes at least. So we can do create, and then we have no tables found in the database. So we can create tables. But there's another way to create a table, and that's actually using SQL. So if we click on the SQL tab, then we can create a database with these two, with this command, create database. And you'll find all of this information in the MySQL documentation. Just have to look for it. And you can just do a quick Google search to find it usually. But so let's go ahead and just use SQL to create project 2 and project 3. So these are separate databases. So once you have the SQL ready, you can just click go, and it will say it returned an empty set. And then so now you can see that we've got project 1, project 2, and project 3. And these are our projects. So we want to select a database that we're going to be using. And again, there's no tables found in these databases because we haven't added them yet. When you're done with a project, or if you want to delete a project or database, you can just run this command, drop database, and then the name of the project. Most of the stuff we're going to be doing is using the SQL. So drop database and then the name of the database. And so if we hit go, then project 3 disappears. Once we have the database created, we'll want to select the database so we can put our tables and stuff inside of them. So you can select it apparently by using something like the command use and then project 1. But using a tool, a GUI, I think it's easier to just select the database. So we can click on it, and then we can press our SQL, and then so the SQL tab, and then that will be where the table that the SQL code will apply to. So once we have a project selected or a database selected, we'll want to run the SQL code to create a table. And so I'm just going to start super simple, and we're going to create a table with just one column, and that's going to be the table name is going to be called visitors, and then we're going to have a column called name with the data type of varchar or varchar 20. And so there's different data types you can use. That's covered in a different tutorial, but varchar is a text field that can have up to 20 characters. And so again, that's basically what we're going to have. So if we go ahead and create the table of visitors with the name field or the name column, and we hit go, then now we can see under our project 1 that we've got this visitors table, and then we can select it and we can take a look at the structure, and we can see that we've got one column with the type of name, and there's the data type, or the name. Here's the data type, and then the collation, and just some more information about that column. With most projects, you don't know all of the columns that you're going to need in a table right up front, so you'll need to be able to add and adjust the table as needed. So if we needed to add some more information to this table, we can do that easily with this alter table command. It allows us to change a table that already exists. So you can read more about the alter table command and the alter table documentation on MySQL on the MySQL page. There's a lot of information here, but we're just gonna keep it simple. And so if we wanted to add a 3 columns, we could do that very easily with this command here. So alter table visitors, and then add the column, and then the name of the column, and then the data type, and then a comma, and then again the add column, name of the column, and the data type, etc. So we'll go ahead and do that. Just copy, and then again go to your SQL tab, and we can alter the table. So if we hit go, it will say, that it basically was done. And then if we take a look at the visitors table, we can see that there's name, age, fave color, and has pets. And so again, if we look at the structure, we can see all of the information about this table. Notice how there's no rows yet. This is all just the structure of the table. And sometimes you may need to change the name of an existing column. So let's say, for example, name isn't very specific. Is it the first name, or last name, or the middle name? Well, we can change that column name to be more specific if you wanted to, again, using this alter table command. And again, check out the documentation for how to do that. But if you wanted to do that, we can just use this little change keyword. And so we can change the name column to first name. And you could actually change the data type as well. So if we wanted to change this to text, we could. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to copy and paste this and go back to the SQL, and I'm going to paste it here. And so alter table visitors, that's the table we're changing, and then we're going to change the name to first name. And let's change this varchar 20 to varchar 30. And we'll hit go. And now let's go ahead and take a look at the structure of the table. And you can see that first name is now the new name column. And then we can also add 10 more characters to that table. So if we needed it to be bigger, we could change it. Just be careful when you're changing data types on an existing application, or name fields as well, or the column names, because you're likely going to break your program, or worse, your data. So if you change something from an integer to text, or text to integer, or something like that, you could do some serious damage to your database. So just be careful. You can also reorganize your database columns. So like, let's say we wanted to move has pets up to the front of the table. We could do that. So if we use something like alter table and then table name, change column, so we're changing the column and we're still using the same information, so has pets tiny int, but we're putting it after the first name. So you could change the column, or you could leave it the same. You could just add the same information, and then the important part here is after or before. So we'll go ahead and do that, and we'll paste it. So that means this has underscore pets column is going to be located right after first name. So if we hit go, then we can set up, or we can take a look at the visitors table, look at our structure, and we can see has pets is now right under first name. The last thing I wanted to talk about was primary keys. And primary keys are super important, especially when you want to add and start connecting tables together. So if you have multiple tables and the information is spread out between multiple tables, you need to be able to connect them via primary keys. And we'll get to that in a different tutorial, but I will at least add the primary key to the table now. So because we don't have it already, we can alter the table yet again, and this time we're going to add a column, and we can use user underscore ID or ID. It's really just a matter of preference. And then we're going to use the data type of integer, and we're going to use this not null, meaning that the user ID cannot be empty. So not null means it cannot be empty. And then auto incrementing means it automatically increments. So it'll start out with user ID of 1, and then the next user will be 2, and then the next one after that will be 3, etc. And so that's basically how we're going to set that up. And we're going to put the column at the very beginning because it's a really important column, and almost every table in a database will have a primary key. So we're going to put that at the very beginning. And then we also want to add constraint primary key, because we need to set this user ID column to be the primary key. And the way that you do that is with this. So add constraint primary key. So, and this is for an existing table. I'll show you how to do it out from the get-go in a moment. So we'll go ahead and copy that, and then go to our SQL, and we'll paste that in. And there it goes. So now let's take a look at our structure, and we've got this little key icon to signify that it's a primary key, and then more information. So, and again, the user ID is the name of the primary key field. Let's say we don't need a certain column anymore. So if we don't need, for example, fave color, we can just drop it, just like we did dropping the database at the very beginning. We can just drop a column as well, which means delete it. So go to the SQL, and then alter table visitors, and then drop column fave underscore color. So this should drop that column. So it'll verify that you want to do it, and then boom, it's gone. So if we go back to visitors, we can see our structure, and there's no more fave color. So it's gone. And if you wanted to drop the entire table, and we'll go ahead and create the table again all in one fell swoop just to see how easy and quick it is. But let's go ahead and pretend that we want to delete this table. So we can just run drop table visitors, just like drop column favorite color. So it's basically the command, and then the thing that we're going to be running the command on, and then the most specific for the information. So the visitors table. So if we go to SQL, we can run drop, and then what we're dropping, the table, and then the name of what we're dropping is visitors. So drop table visitors. And then just hit go, and then confirm, and now we have no projects, no tables in our project one database. So it's gone. And then if we wanted to do everything that we did up here all in just one command, it's very easy. You just write it all separated by commas. So create table visitors, and then the user ID. So we're going to be setting it to the data type to integer, not null, and it's going to be auto incrementing, and then comma, and then we're going to do that over and over again, setting the name and the data type. And then at the very bottom, we're setting the primary key to be user ID. So if we just copy and paste that, or type it in, I recommend typing it in. We'll just go to the SQL, paste that in, and then hit go. And now we have our entire database set up, or our entire table set up for this visitors table. So we're good to go. And just to make sure that you understand the concepts gone over in this video, I recommend checking out the homework assignments on the blog post that I've written that goes with this video. So definitely try to do these just to confirm and help you solidify your understanding with setting up structures in MySQL or SQL or SQL. And that's it. Have a good day, and I'll see you in the next video. Hey everyone, hope you enjoyed the video. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and check out the website truthseekers.io for more tutorials and recommended books and other stuff. So have a good day. See you later.